Next to last.
Next to last. So I want to reiterate, thank you for your bravery. Thank you for what you're doing. I think the American people should be pissed. They should be very angry about this. No one gets away with not paying hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxes and having just blown over or been turned into a misdemeanor charge, especially when you have other criminal activity involved. And you know what's funny? This hearing, no one denied the facts that he's guilty of this stuff, right? We all know he's guilty. The question is, I think the question at hand is, to what extent was his father aware? In a way, it's kind of like Schrodinger's cat. Either he was aware of what's going on, and he knew what his son was doing, and he was involved, or he wasn't. Or maybe he was completely clueless, absent-minded, whatever, unaware of what his family was doing. But one or the other is the truth. You can't come to any other conclusion other than that. And the problem is, you were not able to determine or lift that box, the Schrodinger cat box, and determine, is the cat dead or not? Was Joe Biden truly involved or not? So Mr. Shapley, or Mr. Ziegler, throughout the investigation, what investigative steps that would have involved Joe Biden would you have liked to have pursued but were unable to?
So I guess in my testimony, I talked about the atmosphere when we're interviewing witnesses and talking about specific areas or specific, it being the campaign, that we were prevented, there was rolling eyes at us. I mean, it was a very harsh environment to be in.
And you were directly turned down as well.
So there were situations to where I was not able to ask certain questions, yes.
So you weren't able to lift the box and find out what's underneath.
There were certain, in our investigation, you want to follow the facts. That's a part of our job, is you follow the evidence and you work the case.
So I know that you were tipped off about the storage, or it was tipped off about the storage unit before you were able to actually search it. What were you, can you say what you were looking for? What evidence? Because you've built up to this point, and then now you know there's strong indication that there's something there.
So I believe in Gary's testimony, there was that he moved his prior office. So he, being Hunter, moved his prior office into that storage unit.
And so this was off computers,
Yeah, I don't
files?
know specifically
Okay.
what would have been in there.
Okay. Besides any tax crimes, what other violations were being investigated by any other agencies?
So those aren't in the confines of our testimony. What other charges are being investigated? Any offshoots, but...
Were there other agencies that were working with you that were working on other?
Yeah, there was, FBI was working this case with us.
Okay. So you can't speak to whether there was a Foreign Agent Registration Act or?
I cannot speak to that.
Okay. My other
But
question.
what I can tell you is, not only do we investigate tax crimes, but we also investigate money laundering. So any instances of money laundering, us as IRS agents, we are allowed to investigate those crimes.
Okay.
So, Mr. Congressman, if I could add, so in my transcript, I do say that there's a FARA issue at play during the investigation.
Okay, so there was a FARA issue, a Foreign Agent Registration Act issue. And has that been pursued?
We are not a part of the investigation anymore, so, and I mean, that's our whole point of a special counsel. If there's these offshoot investigations, we're going to just rely on the same thing to happen.
In your investigations, you knew that there was foreign bank accounts or foreign money wires. Are you aware if the Biden family has or they own foreign bank accounts, and do you have the ability to get access to those?
So any records that I would have related to that, I can turn over to the House Ways and Means Committee, and then they could vote to release that.
Thank you. Thank you. I yield back the remainder of my time.
Were you all ever